You can have your own party on TV. Party with R.J. Watkins and the TV33 family when you hold your own Facebook watch party. Connect all your friends with our friends, and we can have a watch party together. Watch your favorite TV shows when you want, how you want, with your favorite people. Here's how it works. Log on to Facebook from your computer or tablet and go to the R.J. Watkins fan page at facebook.com/TV33WHPR, the one with the blue WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word videos with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people at their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Come on, let's have a party.
They argued on the play. He said, no, that's mine. So they sharing it. Thank you.
Once again, and every week. Bon appetit. Good as hell, man.
Cause support right there, brother Lee.
To the bone, it was good. Bad to the bone.
Bad to the bone.
Good to the bone.
That's good stuff.
Come on, get the chicken.
That's it. Yeah, come get the chicken.
Alexa, open TV33 Live. Alexa, open FM Detroit. Alexa, open FM Virgin Islands. Now you can listen to WHPR, TV33, and WVIE on Amazon Echo. Don't miss a minute of your favorite shows. And find out how you can have your own show heard worldwide on Amazon Echo. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. The Watkins Broadcasting Company.
This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones. I want to invite you to listen, to watch, and to participate every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. That's right, from 9 to 10 a.m. That's the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Dr. Talk. Make sure you tune in every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. That's Talk Beat Jones. Remember, tell your friends. Talk Beat Jones, we're now on Sundays from 9 to 10 a.m.
Has age finally caught up with you? Do you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney disease? Well, look and feel younger today. We discovered a new product that promotes appearance and joint issues by the way of collagen, HA, and other super ingredients, without injections. This product will significantly improve joint mobility, help with high blood pressure, kidney disease, and diabetes. It'll also help your skin as well. Call us now at 706-319-0255 or 313-885-4321.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and we're hot on the Talk Beat Jones. I am Billy Jones, and once again, family, we want to wish you all, everyone, men, a happy Father's Day. Now, let me do that little something on the side. You can watch TV33 on cable channel 90. Tell your friends they can come back. We're on channel 90 from 7 a.m. Is that to 12 or 12:30, sir? 12. From 7 a.m. to 12. You can tell your friends that they can pick us up on cable once again. And of course, for those who are there who want to participate, the telephone numbers 313-868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336 is the numbers that you can call this particular program. We're live, of course, and at some point we may do some rebroadcasting, but it's live every Sunday from 8:30 until 10 a.m. every Sunday. We broadcast live. If you want to put your voice out there for people to hear your thoughts, call me, and we will rebroadcast you so people can hear you and hear your thoughts and what's on your mind on the Talk Beat Jones program. Well, I want to just start you off and say it's the end of an era for 92-year-old Marygrove College. Detroit's Marygrove College announced Wednesday, June the 13th, 2019, that it will permanently close after the end of the 2019 fall semester. The college has operated in Detroit for 92 years. 92 years. Wow. Warren police say pharmacy tech swiped 2,200 Xanax pills. A Warren pharmacy tech has been charged with 2 felonies after she was accused of stealing 2,200 Xanax pills from the Myers location where she worked. Wow. You're working and you're going to steal 2,200. You must have a side job. I have someone on the phone at this particular time. Let me go to the phones, and I will continue a bit later. Good morning. This is Talk Beat Jones. I am Billy E. Jones, and can I get your first name and how are you doing today on this wonderful, for the month, Father's Day? And by the way, to ladies, if you've been bringing your children up alone, if you feel that your husband is there but you still have to be the one that's handling the business, I want to salute you too, because, you know, we have bi-parents. That is, people who play both roles, men who play the part of being the person that takes care of their children and will do the feminine work. That is, you know, you got to braid the children's hair sometimes. You've got to get in there and cook. That's not feminine. That's all of our jobs. Wash, that's all of our jobs. Clean the house, that's all of our jobs. And making sure those children are well fed and taken care of, that's all of our jobs. But some of us tend to have more of a heavy influence on one as opposed to the other. So to women, we salute you as well. But to those biological men, we say top of the mark to you. That's what Congressman John Connors used to always say. Good morning. Let me talk to you now.
Good morning. How are you?
I am so wonderful. Who am I talking with?
This is Jay calling from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, from the San Francisco Bay Area. Jay?
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Thank you so very, very much, and glad you took time to call us this morning. What's on your mind?
Yes, well, it's nice to speak with you, and I wanted to call in and introduce myself to your listening audience, and let you know a little bit about what's going on here with me in the Bay.
And give us a little tick-tock on what's happening there, too, as well, okay?
Okay, well, I can tell you yesterday we had beautiful, beautiful weather here. It was absolutely beautiful. As you know, the weather varies all around the Bay, but in my part of where I live, in the Bay Area, it was absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
Now, I did hear down in Oakland it was a little chilly down there.
Chilly? I guess I didn't check because the last time I really checked, it was like a heat wave going on.
Yeah, it was. Last week was awful, but I don't know. I saw where a couple of people had posted that it was, kind of. Actually, someone said it was cold down there, so I don't know. I live between Sacramento and I guess you could say Oakland, San Francisco.
Let me do this. Let me do this for folks who don't know. Would you give them an idea when folks from the Bay Area like that say it's cold? What is about the temperature, do you think, that they say it's cold?
Yeah, cold usually, when people say it's cold, they're usually talking like maybe 68 degrees.
You hear that, Henry? 68 degrees and they said it's cold.
Yeah, because I think I saw where it was about 68 degrees down there yesterday.
Oh my goodness. But you know, that's one of the reasons I love Detroit, is that you're going to get that very much of a change in the weather. You're going to get the snow. You're going to get the wind. You're going to get, and we're talking about good wind. We talk about the rain. We're talking about the heat and the all the different and the beautiful times of the year. You get those changes.
You get the 4 seasons there.
Yes.
So we don't get it here. Although I'm originally from Boston, so I'm used to 4 seasons. But I'll tell you, I can forego 4 seasons for the rest of my days. I really don't care about Four Seasons anymore.
All right. Well, let's move on to what's up with you.
Okay, well, Billy, I am calling to let you know I have a group on Facebook.
Okay.
It's called Health Tips and Info, and what I do is I post articles on alternatives to like Western medicines and practices.
Yes.
So I more or less like to post articles on healthy living, healthy diets, healthy alternatives.
So when we're saying healthy alternatives, we're speaking of if you have a condition or if you want to try to prevent yourself from having a condition and you don't want to have to take medications, or even if you've been prescribed medications, there is potentially an alternative holistically that you're speaking of?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Now let me say this, and you just pointed out, even if you've been prescribed medications,
yes.
You do. I would never suggest to anyone
yes.
that they take alternative herbs or, herbal medications or, different herbs, things like that, without consulting with your doctor, because
yes.
that it could be potentially dangerous to do so.
Yes,
so
that's
if
true.
you take conventional medicines, you want to be very careful, like taking herbal supplements. Just check with your doctor first.
You don't just take your medicines and say, I'm not going to take this because I'm going to try this. You
no,
are always
you
in
never
consultation.
want to do that. That could be very dangerous.
Always in consultation with your doctor. If you are a person who's been diagnosed with an illness and you're under medication and you decide that you found or you heard that this particular alternative procedure will work for you, then what you want to make sure that you do is take it to the doctor, show the doctor what you're wanting to do, and see if they can implement that into your program. Or they may say, I don't think it's a good idea. And if they say it's not a good idea, then you leave it alone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want to do.
What are some of the procedures in terms of alternative? If there was something, if I had a shoulder or arm or knee or foot or a little gout or a little something, is there a something that's specific to a certain part of the body, or is this general health?
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Now, say, what are you asking me again? I'm sorry.
Do you have something that is specific to a part of the body, or?
Yeah, well, it depends on, the disorder. The word disease, if you look at the word disease, it means you're not at ease, right? You're dis-ease.
Oh, okay.
So I like to say also disorder.
Well,
but it depends on what your disorder is.
Jay, excuse me. Hello.
Right? Like if you want to ask me, like
hold on, just a minute.
Okay.
I just have my special guest, and I need to have him here with as much time as he possibly can.
Absolutely.
So we will talk, and you will come back with me next week, and we'll talk about those remedies. Okay?
That sounds great.
Thank you so very much, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you next week.
Okie doke. Have a great one.
You too. Thank you. Bye now.
Okay.
And family, my special guest that I'm just loving to have him here, so I want to get ready to bring him on. Is that okay, Mr. Tyler? Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with my special guest, Mr. Lamar Lemons. Okay. You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and
You can have your own party on TV. Party with R.J. Watkins and the TV33 family when you hold your own Facebook watch party. Connect all your friends with our friends, and we can have a watch party together. Watch your favorite TV shows when you want, how you want, with your favorite people. Here's how it works. Log on to Facebook from your computer or tablet and go to the RJ Watkins fan page at facebook.com/TV33WHPR, the one with the blue WHPR logo on the left. Like us. Click the word videos with the red tag that says live next to it. Then click the share button at the bottom of the video player and select start a watch party. Invite whoever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people at their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Come on, let's have a party. Alexa, open TV33 Live. Alexa, open FM Detroit. Alexa, open FM Virgin Islands. Now you can listen to WHPR, TV33, and WVIE on Amazon Echo. Don't miss a minute of your favorite shows. And find out how you can have your own show heard worldwide on Amazon Echo. For more information, go to FirestickTVNetwork.com or call us at 313-868-6612. The Watkins Broadcasting Company.
This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones. I want to invite you to listen, to watch, and to participate every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. That's right, from 9 to 10 a.m. That's the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Dr. Talk. Make sure you tune in every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. That's Talk Beat Jones. Remember, tell your friends. Talk Beat Jones, we're now on Sundays from 9 to 10 a.m.
Has age finally caught up with you? Do you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney disease? Well, look and feel younger today. We discovered a new product that promotes appearance and joint issues by the way of collagen, HA, and other super ingredients, without injections. This product will significantly improve joint mobility, help with high blood pressure, kidney disease, and diabetes. It'll also help your skin as well. Call us now at 706-319-0255 or 313-885-4321.
Wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and all right. We're back with the Billy E. Jones Talk Beat Jones show, and I am Billy E. Jones. But you know, what's really important is my guest. You know, sometimes, family, we just have to be taken to school. And today, you're going to be taken to school. Why? Because I've got the man. I've got the man with the plan, because everybody's saying, if we come together, if we do this, if we do that, but they couldn't get people to do it. This man has a plan, made it work. But you know what? I'm not going to try to talk to you about him. I will bring him on the air live for you to talk with Mr. Lamar Lemons. Let's do it now. All right. Sir, thank you for coming to Talk Beat Jones.
Good morning. Good morning. I'd love to be here. It's Happy Father's Day to all the other fathers. I am a grandfather.
Grandfather?
Wait a minute. I am a great-grandfather.
No.
Right. In fact, with me today in the audience is my grandson.
Wow.
He's 19 years of age. We just came from doing Art Blackwell's show.
Okay.
That's why I'm a little late.
Wait, now, Art Blackwell's show, he is the godfather to me.
Yeah.
Of Highland Park.
Yes, he
Him
is.
and his father and his son, actually.
Yes.
So can you take us a moment and say that Art Blackwell has a show, radio show, TV show?
Yes, he has a radio show on 107.5 WGPR.
Okay.
Runs every Sunday from 8 to 9.
Okay.
So you see, as soon as I got out 9 o'clock,
yes,
I got here by 9:15, and here we are.
That's dedication, bro.
Yeah.
That's dedication. Because you want to put that. I'm sorry. Would you continue where you were going with that?
Certainly, certainly. So this is Father's Day. I am a grandbabu. That is, I am a grandfather, a great-grandfather. I have 4 children, ages 36 to 42.
Wow.
I have 14 grandchildren, and ages 8 through 22. And I have two great-grands, less than 2, less than 1 or something.
My
like
brother, you know, when I look at you, there is no way these facts and figures that you're just giving us can be true.
that. Right.
You look too young. You don't look beat up at all. You don't look cracked. You don't look, when I say that, I mean your eyes look good, your skin looks good, your goatee looks good. I mean, you're vibrant, you move around looking good. How do you do this? And with all the work that you put in for this community all these years?
Well, God is not, the Creator blessed me with the ability to do it, and I'm going to do it, and that's what I do. And so He put me here for the purpose of elevating our race.
Okay.
Because if a rising ship raises all tides, black people are at the bottom. So if we raise up black people, we raise up all humanity.
Speaking with that, brother, I'm ready to go to school.
Right.
I'm ready to go to school. So family, you need to get ready to call your friends and call your family. Remember, TV 33 is again on cable channel 90 from 7 a.m. to 12, Monday through Sundays. Tell your friends, as well as, of course, the Roku, the Amazon, you know, the Echo, and that, you know, all those different modalities, and your telephones, etc. And www.tv33whpr.com. You got RJ's Watch Party, so that you're able to watch in all these different directions. So right now, Billy's going to go to school, take my pencil and my paper, and I'm doing this, family, because he has so much that he can teach us. So, Mr. Would you please talk to us?
Well, okay, you give me a topic in the area. Can you narrow it down in particularly?
Okay.
Because if it's quantum physics, then I'm out.
Okay, well, let's do a quick backie.
Okay.
Your family have been in politics for many years, have they?
Actually, it's really been just me, and I brought my family on.
Oh, okay.
So people think my father came before me, and in a biological sense, of course, he did.
Okay.
But no, I brought my father into politics years later. I was elected in the 90s, and I served, and then I brought my father, and I served one term. We represented 2 different districts. And we served together as a father and son team in the legislature.
How was that?
It was excellent. It was a wonderful experience. I brought him on because I knew with term limits, I wasn't going to be able to get done what I needed to get done. And I was able to get that the one thing I wanted to get done most importantly at that time, which was a compulsory ed to age 18. So before my father's legislation, that didn't take place to 2010, even though he came in the legislature in 2005. But we weren't able to move it and get it passed until 2010. But when we did, we mandated that a child would either graduate or stay in school till they're 18. No more 16-year-old dropouts.
How did that work out?
It is working out fabulously. You can't drop out. So if you drop out and the police can pick you up, you can go to school in the juvenile.
Wow.
Right?
So
but you're going to go to school.
You're going to get educated.
You're going to get educated. You're going to stay in school until you're 18. You can graduate before then, but if you don't graduate, you have to stay in school till you're 18.
It seems to me, sir, that you have the vision to do future planning while you're in the moment.
Absolutely.
Explain how is that done?
Well, I do it in 5-year increments. And what's most important is that you must think intergenerationally. That's why you see me with my grandson, intergenerationally. And it doesn't have to be my biological family. I like to orientate them as much as possible. But that generation collective, it is imperative that we have a plan and we pass a baton, that we fashion a baton. We say, this is where we were, this is where we are, and this is where we need to go. And you will make the necessary adjustment for the liberation and the empowerment of African people, first and foremost, and of course the elevation of all humanity as a direct consequence.
So we have to plan. We can't just expect our offspring to follow our lead.
Right. We can't leave it. Too many of us say, well, I'm just leaving it in God's hand. No, God put it in your hands.
Okay.
God gave you the hands.
Come on.
You know, He
Okay.
has other power. So He put it in your hands to build thy kingdom here on earth. And so that's what we're doing. And that takes more than one generation and more than 100 generations. So
Wow.
you must keep working. We've been in our sojourn here for 400 years this year.
Come on.
All right. It was 1619. And guess what? It's 2019 now.
Sir,
Yeah.
in that time that you were serving on the school board,
Yes.
you still with the school board?
No, but my wife is still there.
Yeah.
When I left, I was so angry and I'm still, that fight still continued. That's why I assisted a young lady, Betty Jean Alexander, to become the state senator for the 5th district.
Oh, we got to revisit that.
Okay, and because what had happened even prior to that was that they took over the Detroit schools. They illegally spent our assets. And when I say illegally, see, when they took the assets from the city of Detroit, which was really, they did it in a legal but improper manner, and they violated a lot of tenets of the law by hiding, and they weren't transparent. That's for the city of Detroit. But with the school system, they took over the district, and they spent locally owned assets. You cannot spend locally owned assets without going to court, because that's a violation of the 14th Amendment and due process of law. You can't deprive someone of life or property without due process of law. And they have done exactly that.
Is that where people are talking about Mayor Duggan took the $300,000 from the school funds?
No, well, actually, I don't know specifically what money, because Duggan has been involved in this for a long time. When Livonia Mike, he was living in Livonia.
Livonia Mike.
and he was living in Livonia at that time, and he was involved in the schools going back to 1988. He was involved. He wasn't involved with the Livonia schools where he lived. And remember, he's a relatively recent migrant to the city of Detroit. He lived in Livonia all his life. Even though he worked in Detroit, he worked as the Wayne County prosecutor, he worked as the deputy county executive, he worked as the CEO of the DMC, Detroit Medical Center. All these things were greased and were political appointments, with the exception of prosecutor, where he won a narrow victory over Sharon McPhail. But and he was only there one term. Then he went to DMC because he was going to have to run again. I don't think he could have beat Kim Worthy.
Wow.
So that was what was happening at that time. But so Mike Duggan had been involved in some shady deals with the school system for a long time. He brought in and he orchestrated the Hope Team. It was
The Hope Team?
The Hope Team. That was what they were called, and they were elected. And that was Lawrence Patrick, the late Lawrence Patrick, David Olmsted, and Frank Hayden, and that spelled the Hope. And then eventually Kay Everett, the late Kay Everett, became part of became the E, and Joseph Blanding. So these were all people who were with Mike Duggan, and they took over the Detroit Public Schools. The union finally got wise to them, and the community and unions collectively defeated the Hope Team, but it was too late because under the system and the process, they were too well entrenched. Which brings us, during that period, the voters of the city of Detroit passed a millage, a $1.5 billion bond.
1.5 billion?
Billion of 1992 dollars, not in today's 1.5 billion is some equivalent to approximately $3 to $4 billion today. And so,
And that's what the citizens put on themselves.
right, we put that on ourselves to build new schools and fix up the school buildings. And that's when the stuff started, because we had a progressive board for the most part, and the people were fighting over the money. the contracts because we're going to build schools. Somebody's going to build a school. Somebody's going to do repairs for the school. Somebody's going to do the plumbing, the electricity,
The painting.
and the painting. And so the big bond contractors were all white. There were no blacks who could handle that, a project of that size at that time. But the school board mandated that they have black subcontractors, and they didn't like it. So they went to John Engler. John Engler found an excuse to take over the school district. He said the academic performance wasn't up to snuff. But you should know, Detroit outperformed 250 school districts in this state. So it was selective. So what they used as an excuse was the size of Detroit. They said the other districts that are failing are all smaller. Well, of course, all districts were smaller.
Yes.
And so we had more failing kids than anybody. Yeah, because we had more kids than anybody.
Yeah, Detroit at that time was the largest city.
Right, right.
But it had almost 1 million plus.
Right. Well, we still are the largest city in the state, but at that time we're talking about the school children. Now we had about 180,000 students. Now we're down to 60 now, and we have been as low as 40, but under the state's systematic demise.
Yes.
But back to it. So they passed legislation that said that it was an experiment. That's what they called it. It was called a reform experiment. And under that reform experiment, the citizens, after 5 years, could vote to return to an elected board. So they had an appointed board. The legal problem they had, from my perspective, which still needs to be challenged, even now, 20 years later, to the degree that you can challenge those things 20 years later. But the law is still in effect. So that's what we're going to utilize. Even though we're not under that law anymore, the law is still on the books. But the reality is the school system was taken over. We had a $1.5 billion bond. We had a $115 million surplus.
What?
$115 million budget surplus when the state took us over. They put us in over $300 million in debt. And then they gave it back to us. And then the newly elected neophytes, we call them the erudite neophytes, because they all were PhDs and MDs, but they knew nothing. They were like a Ben Carson. They knew nothing of government.
Yes, yes.
And so what happened was, within 2 years, the state had taken the district back over.
Was that because they felt the board that was there?
Well,
was
they said we were
dysfunctional?
at debt. No, they said they took it over based on another law. A Democrat took it over this time. First time, John Engler took it over to give the contracts to his buddies. That's
Yes.
the bottom line. He really took it over. We got to prove it. We believe he took it over. Got to be careful because I don't want to be sued.
Yes, yes.
We believe that he took it over, and evidence shows that these people, the people who got the contracts, were also people who were friendly with John Engler and not friendly with the citizens of the city of Detroit as a collective or our designated leaders at that time. Those things are irrefutable facts. So, Jennifer Granholm took it over because of finances. When they created, which she helped create the deficit, Jennifer did.
Jennifer Granholm?
Jennifer Granholm did. She borrowed quietly because we had the reform CEO. So the reform CEO replaced the board, so there was no oversight.
Can you break down what is a reformed CEO?
That was under Public Act 10. They removed the superintendent structure and called the new person in charge a reform CEO because he had superpowers. He had powers much greater than a superintendent, and he had powers greater than the board. You know, superintendents usually are accountable to the board.
Family members, you are listening to Mr. Lamar Lemons. I said, get your pen, get your paper. You've heard all these rumors about how things have gone in the past. Now let's get the facts from Mr. Lamar Lemons. Continue to teach us, sir.
Yes. So his name was Kenneth Burnley. They put him in there. What they did in the structure, they ensured that the superintendent of instruction, which is the state state superintendent or his designee would have the right to veto the other board members if he didn't agree with the action they were taking. So the board selected one reform CEO / superintendent, and they chose another. And the one they chose was Kenneth Burnley. So Kenneth Burnley became the reform CEO, and he was operating the district. And after operating the district into a deficit, after not taking the actions necessary, he took $150 million surplus and turned it into a approximate $300 million deficit. $200 million was a first-time bond on anticipated funds. $200 million. So then they entered the neophyte board members. We elected them. They all had fancy titles. They were doctors and MDs. They didn't know what they were doing. They argued among themselves, and within 2 years, the state had put them under the Emergency Manager Act, which at first they had a consent agreement. Of course, they failed and violated the consent agreement, which brought us to Robert Bobb.
Robert Bobb from, as I mentioned, I'm from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And Robert Bobb was there. Jerry Brown came to Oakland to run for mayor.
Yes.
He had them to change the bill so that the mayor in Oakland could now become like the czar, the head person.
Of the schools?
Of the city.
Oh,
because
okay.
Oakland operated where the mayor didn't have the powers.
Oh, okay.
He was more ceremonial.
Oh, I see.
So what happened was when he got to be mayor, and Robert Bobb was there, he fired Robert Bobb.
Oh, yeah, so Robert Bobb was acting as, what do they call them, in municipalities that don't operate their own and have a ceremonial mayor. He was acting in that capacity.
Yes, yes. And I tell you, they said that he had the rumor that he walked on water like God. And so I told folks when he came here what was going to happen.
Right. He was the city manager, that's what they call it.
Yes, yes. And he had come from San Francisco, too.
He's done this all over the country. He came from Michigan, Kalamazoo. He's been building up his cachet and resume doing that. And so when we came up with this new all-powerful position of reform CEO, he was envious of it, but he wasn't in that capacity. He came in as the emergency financial manager.
Yes.
And that's real important that you, as EFM is different than an EM, emergency financial manager. So he was limited to things financial. He took the position that as emergency financial manager, he was over all things that a penny touched, which was everything. And that's what he said. The board disagreed. I came onto the board. We sued and prevailed. As a matter of fact, Judge Wendy Baxter in the Baxter decision said he had caused irreparable harm to the school district, the citizens, and his children. Unfortunately, the next election, within a few months, Rick Snyder came in, and they came up with an all-powerful emergency manager law. And so now that was different than the emergency financial manager. We had just beat them in court and proved that he was an overreach. And so by getting the emergency manager in place, who was all-powerful czar, they felt they could do what they could. So I'm on the board. I brought in Dr. Telford as the prospective superintendent pending the resolution of the emergency managers of the crisis. Because the emergency manager was only there to deal with the crisis, because you don't just suspend democracy, because he was an all-powerful person. Now, the emergency manager, the citizens didn't like it, but in their haste, the legislature, which is always in a transitional phase because we have term limits. So Rick Snyder came in, didn't know all the things, and so many of the legislators didn't, so they slipped up and they didn't use a legislative trick they normally use, which is to apply an appropriation, which makes it referendum proof. The public can't undo a referendum, so unless we change the Constitution, if it has an appropriation, so there's money attached.
Okay.
Fortunately, this didn't attach any money, so the citizens and the unions, again, came together, because I work with them, and I'm not with the unions per se, but I am a community organizer. So I'm what if Barack Obama would became if he just said, I'm just going to stay here and organize in the community and not run for president.
Yes, yes,
so,
yes.
We got it overturned. The school board's lawyer said I couldn't do what I was doing, but when we went to court, the judge said I could, and that's how you enter Dr. Telford.
A great man.
Yeah, and so now, what they decided to do, they had to, in their haste, they had to reinstate the law, make a few changes, and overturn the public's will, the will of the public.
Yes, yes.
By creating another emergency manager under Public Act 436. The first one was Public Act 4 of 2011, and this was Public Act 436 of 2012. So immediately after the citizens, within 6 weeks, they passed another law to bring in an emergency manager. And
that was to break the will of the people?
That was to break the will of the people. And because their whole thing was to dismantle the Detroit public schools so that they could charter the whole district a la New Orleans. That's what they did in New Orleans. They wanted to charter our district. And so I kept fighting them tooth and nail and pointing out that they owed. So they eventually gave the district back, gave us $600 or $700 million to start the district, which was not enough. The transitional manager, which was Stephen Rhodes, said it was not enough money. Oh, as I said, under PA 436, they had emergency manager in place. Meanwhile, the emergency manager in Flint, Darnell Early, had came here a couple of emergency managers later, and he was sent here to dismantle the district. Unfortunately for him, that's when the Flint fiasco blew up. And he stopped even coming to the school, to Detroit. He was running from a subpoena by the United States Congress to testify about the poisoning, because he was the emergency manager and at the time, and he authorized the pulling of the switch to change it from the Detroit water system. Now, you should know the reason they had to stop Flint from being dependent on the water right away. They could have taken the time and waited till the new system was in place and gave Detroit a time to adjust, which they didn't want to do. They needed to put us Detroit Water Department in a deficit so they can take it over and now enter the Great Lakes Water Authority.
Wait, could you go over that last part one more time, please?
Yes. Flint was the biggest customer of the city of Detroit's water, beautiful water system. So we sent Flint our water. They were, Snyder and his buddies and Andy Dillon were building another water system from Huron for Flint. But the problem was it was going to take a few years, and they needed to take over the Detroit water system right now. But the Detroit water system always turned a profit.
Yes, yes.
So how could you put them in debt? You get rid of their biggest customer, their biggest client.
They've never talked about that part.
Yeah, nobody talks about that because they're not in the policy deep.
Okay.
So by the direct consequence of of Detroit losing its clients, put us in a temporary state. We weren't really in the red, but on the books, and that's all they needed as a rationale to take it over and enter the Great Lakes Water Authority. They've been trying to get the water system ever since Coleman Young became the mayor in 1974.
Wow.
And so the feds had the water system. They didn't give it back till after Coleman was dead, and Mike Duggan was the interim, was the mayor without portfolio, you could say, in that we still had an emergency manager. He worked with Kevin Orr.
There was a question of, this may be totally wrong, but there was a question about a water interceptor some years ago. Do you remember that?
No, I don't know anything about
Okay, well, that's totally different there. This is so interesting because, again, you're giving us facts and figures that we've heard all types of
rumor.
rumors, yes,
And,
yes.
and the fringe, they get part of it, but not all of it.
And that's why we need you, sir.
Okay, so what I was saying about that, you can't prove that was their rationale, but we can prove that was a direct consequence. Shutting off Flint from Detroit put Detroit in the deficit, but it also poisoned all the people at Flint. We know that.
Yes.
I'm not so cynical to say that it was deliberate, but I will say it was done with a callous indifference.
And regardless of how it's done and why it was done, those people are going to be sick for all of those years, because when we talk
Some of them all their lives.
and when we talk about that situation, you kind of copy it to the 9/11 situation with all those first responders and how sick they are now.
Right.
So tell me something. Can you tell us how you were able to politically bring a neophyte, maybe wrong with that thought, into the political arena and take her to the level that you did?
We orchestrated a systematic stealth campaign. The person there, a European American of Polish descent, really, from my perspective.
Hold on just a moment. Family, I want you to listen to this very carefully, because we as the community, we always got all of these different activists, all these different organizers talking about their plan, how they need to have things done their way. All of this division between the different activists and their groups, and they can't come together to make something happen for real. This man did it, made it happen, so you have to listen very closely to Mr. Lamar Lemons and to his stealth program. Please help us, sir.
Well, it was an opening. It's not like it's always. I saw the opening. The European American, who I felt did not give us a proper representation. And I was actually a little miffed that as president of the school board, I went to him and he was non-responsive to the issues. And remember, I had been a legislator long before him, when
Yes.
he was literally in knee pants. And so for someone, he not only did he not respect the largest school district in the state and the largest amount of children in his district, he was disrespecting a fellow colleague who predated him by a couple of decades.
Wow, wow.
And so, nevertheless, he wasn't bad on the insurance issue. And so, actually, the first part was to at least, even if he was to return, my person was to prevent, quite frankly, and people don't know this, and I never mentioned this up until now, my plan was initially to stop Mike Duggan from running somebody against him, because on the insurance issue, he was with the people.
Okay.
So
okay.
this European American was a nice guy, but on the school issues, so when they left it wide open and Duggan didn't put in his person, I said, well, I'm going to have to put in my person.
Okay.
So we ran a very a stealth campaign. And I say stealth because he had raised over $850,000 for the Democratic Party. So he had a lot, unlimited cash.
So when you look at that and you see that he is an incumbent, get all this money, and so you must have had a big budget to work with.
We spent $0 in the primary.
No, you didn't.
$0.
And everybody tell me I can't run because I don't have any money?
Yeah, we spent $0. Every race is different. The more money we would have spent, it would have worked to our disadvantage. If we put up one lawn sign, he could put up 100 because he had that much cash advantage.
Yes.
And he was an incumbent. And he could do as many mailings. But because we played it the way we did, he didn't run as if he had a strong opponent. And so when he woke up on election day, he had lost by a considerable amount. It wasn't close. In fact, of the 7 senators in Wayne County, Betty Jean was finished number 2 in the primary and number 1 in the general.
Wow.
In terms of number of votes from her district.
Now, can you give us a little insight into how you made that happen?
We recruited her. We did the technology of the day, which was the robocalls with her voice. And we covered the polls on election day because she can't do anything after that. And that was it. And we only covered the polls on election day in Detroit.
Well, what made the people decide to give her this opportunity?
I would say that it was, and oftentimes in politics, and I've been around a long time, oftentimes in politics, people are voting against a person more than they're voting for the other person.
Was that part of your thought?
We knew that, and so a lot of people were either voting against him or they actually didn't know him. Remember, his name was Kinesic, and there are not too many Kinesics in the neighborhood. There are a lot of Alexanders, there are a lot of Bettys, there are a lot of even Betty Jeans.
Yes, yes.
But there are not too many Kinesics. And so his name was David Kinesic. He's a good guy in general. I was very disappointed about his non-responsiveness to my concerns on the Detroit public schools.
So your concern was the children?
My concern was the children. I was the president of the school board, and we were trying to get some things done, and also to prevent Mike Duggan from taking over our schools, because there was legislation to do that. So with my experience, I actually lobbied and built an alliance with some Republicans whose policies in general I find repugnant. But on this case, they didn't want Mike Duggan to have our schools, and I didn't want Mike Duggan to have our schools. It was a match made in heaven on that issue.
So you carefully choose which side of the bread you get in.
Right. Well, of course, you got to move for what's best for my community, and that's what all of the legislators do.
At this point, you are the chief of staff for. Explain how that works.
I'm the chief of staff, and so we have a staff of maybe 10 people in total, including interns and et cetera. And I also do the policy. I wear several hats. I pick her up every month. She has a car now. She remember
didn't have a car.
She didn't have one that could drive to Lansing.
Okay.
More than twice. So.
So you were the chauffeur too.
So I'm the chauffeur, security, whatever it needs in all capacities.
And probably her therapist, because during that ride, y'all get a chance to talk, and she can tell you what she's thinking of.
Exactly, and what they say in caucuses. They do have private, no staff caucuses as well. So she's able to tell me what's going on in caucus. I read all the bills, and I advise her. She makes her own decision. You know, I show her the pros and cons of everything.
And then it's on her.
And then it's on her.
How has she been as a
senator?
As
a state senator, she already introduced 18 bills. She's got one resolution passed. She's been a senator all of 5 months.
Wow. Wow. So you say that she's a go-getter.
She's a go-getter, and we're getting it done.
So that, again, is part of your future planning.
Exactly.
How does it?
I could tell you, we have plans now in the making. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Well, I don't want to know.
Look, but you'll see them. You'll see them and know them as they unfold.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you feel does TV have in terms of bringing candidates to the attention of the community?
Well, television is of course, has been an important medium at least since 1960. So, and now it's with the internet and television, so even this can be rebroadcast, shared on social media, and seen many more times than even your audience. In fact, I watch Dr. Kafense. I've never watched the show, but I always see the show on Facebook.
Oh, 910?
No, he's at this station. I wouldn't
Okay.
know him. And there are other shows and individuals that I watch, not in real time, but at my convenience.
Well, you can always go now to TV 33 on demand.
Oh, yeah, see?
And pick up the shows, especially that sound system has been corrected, and now you can listen to it on the telephone, no problem. You can go to demand without a problem. It's very, very impressive. Tell me this, sir. If I was a candidate and a person was asking you to come to the station to be vetted by the public because you think that you have what it takes to be a political candidate,
I would definitely come. Anytime you want, you can reach your audience with your message. A person who you should really watch, who's really campaigning, is Elizabeth Warren. She is rolling. She is doing it correct. She's eating into Bernie's base. She's, I think, right now number 2 only to Biden, and Biden is going to fall all the way off.
Yes.
And I'm not telling anybody who to support for president, but I'm telling one person to not support in the Democratic Party, and that's Joe Biden in the primary. We need to get rid of him and his politics in the primary, so we don't have to be picking the lesser of evils in the November of 2020.
Just as a funny thought, if you looked at the candidates now and that's been in the Democratic Party, is there a particular candidate you say would best be able to compete with Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump is going to come at whoever hard, very hard.
There is no candidate who is running, but perhaps maybe the Yang, but for the most part, and Marianne Williamson, who I like her agenda, but she is like Trump in that she has no government experience, and that means everything. So that means, you know, and that means she'll have to heavily rely on individuals to do that.
Wow.
To bring in there.
Wow. So at this point, what about Kamala Harris?
We're still vetting her. She's done some things that we really do, as a prosecutor, where she continued to prosecute an innocent man, and he was not African American, by the way. And so we had some great concerns about Kamala and her role as the both prosecutor and attorney general, and some of the things she either did or did not do that she should have done, things that she did not do that she should have done, and things that she did that she should not have done.
Sounds like she has some undisclosed baggage.
Yeah, she has some baggage. But all those politicians, Elizabeth Warren, you know, tried to pass as a Native American, and they did a DNA. You know, everybody had that. Let me tell you, human beings have baggage. Joe has the most baggage. Joe Biden has the most baggage. The only thing he's riding on is, hey, I played second fiddle for the black man. Y'all should support me. Nothing else. His policies as a senator were detrimental to black people and to women.
Mr. Lamar Lemons, would you address the family, give them a last comment, please?
I would say that we need everyone to become precinct delegates, to get involved. You don't have to make politics a career, but you need to get involved. Register with the Democratic Party first. And the reason you should register because you can go down there and vote as to who becomes the nominees through the convention.
That's why I say, family, you know, I've got to talk with this man. I've got to see if I can have him become the voice that gives you the proper information right here on Billy E. Jones, Talk Beat Jones. Sir, can I get you to come back?
Absolutely.
You're welcome anytime.
Okay.
Is there a contact number for you if folks want to
Sure.
reach you?
313-204-3681. That's 313-204-3681.
I ask you to follow him on Facebook. Anyway, I got a call, but I got to go. We're out of time. Next show is ready. Thank you for calling, okay? Bye-bye. Family, this has been Talk Beat Jones. I am Billy E. Jones, and of course, we're on every Sunday from 8:30 to 10. Of course, the rebroadcast on Sunday nights is from 8 to 9:30. So join us. Thank you for being with us today. Again, we look forward to hearing from you. My number is 313-412-3111. If you want to talk with me, text me, and I'll get back with you. Thank you very much for being with us. We love you. Happy Father's Day once again. Bye now. Anywhere, because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and this is the Talk Beat Jones.